right? It's
just like that.
Did I tell you about the time at the X Games? Did I tell you about one of the things that I might go to hell for?
No.
Okay, so at the X Games, we were going, Ale and I. This is just perfectly in this, and let's just go ahead and kick this off on the right foot. Ale and I go to the X Games. I wanted to go to Speed and Style motocross, right? Moto X.
No, volume.
So what happens is they didn't have any spots left. They didn't have any spots left in the seating area, but they did in the handicap seating area. I'm not happy about my behavior at this moment, but it worked. So I just said, Ale, go with it. And we walked right in, and I don't know sign language, I just started going like this a lot. And I started tugging on my ears and doing this stuff, and I could obviously hear them say, "Excuse me, sir." That was the moment of truth. You did not break character.
No.
You did not break character. And I thought Ale was breaking character. And I'm not doing anything. And we just walked right to the front row.
Until someone starts signing to you, and then what?
No, because we got in. Come to find out, the handicap just get a different entrance door. But then you get to the regular people's seat. Not to say it like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But we just went in and sat where we had bought our tickets for.
Where was
Nice.
that?
That was at the X Games in Austin. Last time I went. Last time I was, allowed to go down there. But that's how we're kicking this one off. Anyone else wants to admit to their
No, we would never stoop that low. Although we did use a Haas F1 pass to get our way through all the traffic at the F1 race. Coming through, we got a pass, we got a badge.
As you should.
And we just flew right out.
You know what's funny is it was at the same spot.
Was it?
Because mine was on the front straight, is where they set that up at Circuit of the Americas. So, haha to you, motherfucker.
That's it?
What do you do with that?
Well, I was going to smoke it if this one ran out, but I take it you're going to take it.
I don't know, no cigar.
That's called prep. Show prep.
What's up, everybody?
How's everybody doing? It is Tuesday night, Cigar Talk Live. And we have with us this guy.
I'm Brandon.
We have that guy.
Adrian.
And we have this guy.
Jim.
Jim Trader. Our own Jim Trader. Ladies and gentlemen, stage 4 colon cancer has had its ass kicked by this guy.
Is that technically a pun?
I guess in theory.
Yeah, yes.
I guess in theory. But this young man had decided to take on a little bit of a battle. We like to call it stage 4 cancer. And we knew that our member, our friend, Jim Trader, was going to whoop its ass.
Oh, is the light in the shot?
And
Yeah. Can you move it?
Yeah, I can move
what's
it.
that?
The lights in Adrian's shot on Instagram.
Got it.
Perfect.
We got makeup on, so it doesn't matter. But so Jim Trader's here. So everybody that's watching, we've all had family members that have had this battle, and we've watched it up close. Jim has been a staple on every stupid show that we do.
Yeah.
Always watching this as some form of entertainment, and now he's here. He did come in and surprise us late last year, but you were actually defying what the doctors told you.
Yeah, they didn't want me to come.
They didn't want you to come. So the solution, of course, find new doctors. I went into a cardiologist. The doctor, my guy suggests I go to a cardiologist. I went to the cardiologist. He said, "Do you smoke?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "You need to quit." I go, "I got the wrong guy. How much is this part?" He goes, "It's $300. I went, "Fuck you, I'm leaving." And I didn't pay him. So
What?
I just left. And
Come on.
I just look. I mean, just because you're a doctor doesn't mean you're smart. And
Well,
I wasn't gonna deal with it. So you have now you're official though, right? The doctors have given you a green light or
They've given me a short leash.
a short leash, but the leash does get you here.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's all the longer it needs to be.
They wanted me to get through the 4th booster shot, and then do a rescan and check markers and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't what we wanted, but it was better than it could have been.
Okay.
So, And it was just kind of one of those things that my doctor, my team is amazing. The head oncologist, he graduated from UNC. I'm a diehard Duke fan.
There you
So
go.
we had it went beyond doctor-patient relationship, and that kind of just broke the ice. And
nice.
so we were able to be honest with each other, and I said, Doc, look, I mean, what do I need to do to get out? Like, it's been 2 years. I've seen you. You've seen me. And he was like, well, let's get a fourth COVID. Let's see if you get an immunoresponse from that. So I got that 2 weeks ago. No immunoresponse. And he was like, well, let's hold off until we do the scan. They did the scan, and he's like, well, there's a couple things we're looking at that, we need to be cautious about. I was like, is it going to change anything in the next, from what I've already gone through? And he said, probably not. And I was like, well, what can I do? And he goes,
Yeah.
I mean, technically I'm supposed to be wearing a mask when I'm around people, not because of COVID. I imagine there's going to be some fist thrown sometime when I'm out and about, and they're like, he's still wearing a mask.
Yeah.
But if you really want to be smart, be the only person in your car wearing a mask. Those are the guys. Or the joggers.
That's what's safe.
I just want to stop and punch them in the face because they're so stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I was joking with myself. I'll be like Vladimir Putin and have everybody like 100 feet away from me.
That's just because he knows they're a shitty shot. So, yeah, that's where that's at. Robert Thompson is in. He says audio's good, and Sam is in. Mega Bang, of course, is in. And Frank the Tank is so happy that you're back. He was staring out the window like a little puppy waiting for you to return.
Happy Mardi Gras.
Oh, is it Mardi Gras?
What does that mean? Can anyone help us, please, with what Mardi Gras is?
I think it's
Where's Ty?
It was something created for the French. Don't get Ty
Okay,
in
I'm
here.
just
He's
so
probably
glad because the last time I asked a question like, what is rye? I realized that I should know what rye was.
As in, like whiskey.
Right.
Yeah,
Like the
like the wheat,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah,
It was a grain.
Yeah.
I didn't know. It is.
Okay. Yeah.
No, but every human being knows that except for me. I learned it at that moment.
Okay.
I'm just glad that I didn't know what it was. I didn't have any idea. I thought it was maybe a style or something. I'm an idiot. But I'm glad that none of us know what Mardi Gras is.
No, I've never been. From what I understand, it's interesting. I was talking to a guy that said that this goes back many, many years in Mardi Gras, but he was actually living on the quarters, and the lady's house that he was in, she said, I need you to run down the street, get me something at this little store down at the end of the street. Here's an umbrella. So
piss?
and it wasn't raining. Yeah. No, that's it.
What?
She had the umbrella so that because people are pissing off the top deck, he used the umbrella to go down the street.
For all the piss. Okay, so Sam's coming in, and he's a quantum guy. He says Fat Tuesday is the binge before Lent. So you commit all the sins that you need to repent over the next 40 days.
Tomorrow's Ash Wednesday.
Okay.
Let's rob a bank.
So is
Yeah.
Mardi Gras going on right now?
It's Fat Tuesday.
Yeah.
Look, 75 seconds ago, I didn't know what Mardi Gras really was, aside from that.
We'll Google it. I gotta find out what it
That was
actually
just a
means.
party.
Fat Tuesday, so we know.
Fat Tuesday.
The
Okay.
beans.
I like Mark. Mark says it's just beans and boobs.
Yeah.
Which to me sounds like we used to have like beans and franks when we were kids.
No, it's
but-
beads.
It should be beans.
Oh, beads. Oh, I was way
Beads.
Yeah. They throw the beans,
Beans.
and then you.
I think
Beans
so
and
too.
boobs.
Yeah, do their.
Yeah.
That is a quite a tradition.
Yeah.
I've got to say.
So do you? I've got it from an authoritative source here, Wikipedia.
Yeah. They know. They know.
Yeah, nobody can mess with that.
Oh.
Mardi Gras refers to events of carnival celebration beginning on or after Christian feasts of the Epiphany and culminating on the day before Ash Wednesday, which is known as Shrove Tuesday.
Oh,
I
so
understood most of those words.
I don't know. What did he say it was? Fat Tuesday?
it's
Here's the question.
beans and boobs.
Yeah.
Let's make this interactive. Okay.
Yeah.
There is a right answer. There's a wrong
Flashes your
answer.
boobs and send us
no, not Mark Meyer.
Okay.
Here's the question. Okay. New Orleans, or do you go to Brazil to Carnival?
Brazil. I mean, yeah. I've never been, but it's on the side.
Carnival or
Yeah, Carnival.
that's where I would go. The booty's everywhere, man.
Yeah. And apparently it's probably cleaner. I mean, you don't got piss hanging out.
Yeah.
How bad is it if Rio de Janeiro is cleaner than
That's
wherever you're
that's
going?
yeah. They had the Rio Olympics there, and they were talking about there's just like open sewer pits and stuff that were just all over.
That's
Just
New Orleans.
That does sound like New Orleans. Let's be honest.
Nathaniel went with a group of people about three or 4 years ago, and he said he wouldn't go back to like Bourbon Street. You do it once, and then you realize you never want to do it again.
Yeah.
But like the little side streets where you had the little restaurants and all.
The muggings.
No, just like if you got away from Bourbon Street and kind of went out into, that's where you really experienced. But he said it, walking down Bourbon Street, he's like, there's anything there,
Yeah.
and they're like,
I heard there's certain streets where if it's a little darker, you don't want to go.
No.
I've heard that from a local.
Yeah.
That's what Pat was saying. He's like, if there are no street lights, you don't go outside. No.
so roll that into the three questions. What happens on those dark alleys?
I'll tell you what, I can tell you that they believe. Oh, by the way, we have a new believer in the three questions. You know, we every week, for those of you that are just joining us from somewhere around the world, and if you're coming to us from a foreign country like Mississippi,
Oh, I'll give you Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan,
Yeah. Yeah.
good day, mate. And that
We need a
is,
Tuesday sign off.
we do need a Tuesday sign. Good evening. We need to find out how the Australians say good evening, mate. But we have three questions here, and we pose them to everybody. And we post them to you.
We already posed it to him. We can't repeat it.
I understand that,
Oh.
but I talked to Brandon last night about midnight when he was cruising home after listening to a podcast, and apparently his position on UFOs has changed.
No, you're fabricating. You're fabricating what's happening.
What
All
did you
right.
see in Colorado?
That's.
No, he was listening to a podcast. Go
I
ahead
was
and tell the
listening
rest
to
of the story.
Lex Freeman podcast. He was actually interviewing a Stanford psychologist, and he was speaking with the people who had experiences, and he was talking about what the psychology is, what they find under MRI, and they were posing things as very matter of fact. That yes, of course. But it was a very unique and very cool podcast because they didn't say like, what if? No, they just hopped straight in. Like this happens. And if this happens, then what type of being would it be? And they were hopping into the hypothetical. But what they found was most of the people, if not all the people who had experiences with UFOs, all had a specific cell block inside of a part of their brain that was much more dense. So what they saw was not only were they more susceptible of having these sort of experiences, but it was like a 95% chance that these two types of people would marry each other. It was like this law of attraction to this very dense spot of cells in their brain.
It's the chip. It's where they installed the chip.
Yeah,
I thought that's the other end.
Yeah.
well,
I think it goes up.
all the way up to the spot. So
They're just fascinated with asses, but they really they know how to get it right
They
there.
have to get all the way up
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
I'm not any more of a believer. However, it was interesting to just not go to the point of, what if it, to just go, yes, that exists. Yes, they look like gods. They come down like heaven from the heavens and they impart these things, and all of a sudden there are gods. And then once gods start fading away, then they come as technology, right? Or they start leaving these little things as like breadcrumbs for us to chase, like good parents, right? If we're going to train mice, we put little things in the way, or we reward them for certain things.
Yeah.
And you start thinking, shit, who knows? I mean, maybe we're just ants on a hill and they're just sprinkling the pheromones all over the place to get us to chase it, which we can do with everything that's below. So I am strongly still on the fence. I still believe that there's something else out there, but I am teetering more on
Little
the side of
little
maybe
science.
possible.
You get a little bit of science in there.
Science.
So speaking
What's up, Rodney Smith?
speaking of guys that are going to wear satin outfits, Rodney Smith, someone say whiskey, is in the house, and we're glad to see that he's in the house. What's Rodney going to be wearing at the upcoming Derby event?
Well, we still have about 140 tickets to sell within the next 10 days or so.
Okay.
If we sell another 140 tickets to the Derby party, then Rodney Smith is going to wear a silk jockey onesie.
Like the diamond pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever pattern. Could be pink. Could just be flat
Let me
pink.
get one of those tickets just to.
You want a ticket?
Yeah,
We got you for a
And
ticket.
here's the beauty of the whole thing is Rodney he's ripped. I mean, he's just very muscular. So we're getting him a medium outfit. So it's going to fit a little snug in his regions, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Is he gonna have the high boots on?
Oh, I'm sure. Well, I think he wears those anyway. I mean, he's kind of a high boot guy.
And we definitely just lost Rodney Smith.
No, Rodney's in. He gave us a good day, so he's in it. He's in it to win it. Why don't you tell us, just invest 8 seconds to 12 seconds and tell us about the Derby event that's coming up. Again, we are Industrial Cigars. We're in Frisco, Texas. This is a virtual cigar lounge. Imagine just being one of many that are just sitting in a chair hanging out with us, and we're just having a conversation like people do in a cigar lounge, or should be doing it in a cigar lounge.
Yes.
And that's exactly what we're doing. And while we're here, we do a lot of events, but we're doing an event on May 7th that it will potentially be the biggest event we've ever done, which is pretty big. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
May 7th, Woodford, a cigar manufacturer. Roses, dogs dressed, big hats, full transformation, the party outside of Churchill Downs, even better because you can smoke cigars. Go Eventbrite, sign up. I don't know, that was probably 12 seconds, right?
That was probably it. So how many have we sold?
This feels like a promo though. I don't like
I know,
this
I
idea.
don't, I just...
Let's move on.
Okay,
We did
so
the
I'm
whole
curious
show
how
last-
many we've sold.
Like 60.
That's good.
We're
on our way.
Yeah, I mean, we're
Yeah.
1 week in, we've got about 60 people. So,
I heard all the VIP stuff was sold.
oh yeah, all VIP. So I think I
what I
might
heard.
just double it up. I might just open up more VIP stuff. But regardless, let's talk cigars. Let's talk a little bit. Oh, we got Bear Grylls in. No, it's Beer Grills. Yeah,
Shoot.
awesome. Glad I can make this live video. Really enjoy these. I've seen on YouTube. Wow. Beer, welcome, man. Glad to have you. Glad to have
Beer
you.
Grills.
Let's talk cigars, or if you're out there watching, you tell us what you want us to talk about, because this is an unscripted show. I want to know what you guys are all smoking. What's happening right
And
now?
by the way, Adrian here is Cigars and Guns. So if you want to talk cigars, you want to talk guns, this guy knows a little bit about guns. He's an F1 fanatic. We're kind of in that same fanatical realm with F1. We have lots of things that we enjoy, and one of those is great cigars. You, my friend, are smoking an Atabey Lancero. It's called the Spiritus.
Why don't you let him talk about it, goddammit?
Well, he's going to tell us about the cigar. I'm telling him what it is because he's looking at it going, when I was here 2 years ago, you didn't have this.
2 years ago, we didn't have these.
That's a good point.
I mean, it's an Atabey. That's pretty much sums it up. I mean, I am a Lancero. I mean, you had posed a thing a year or two back that if you could only smoke one cigar for the rest of your life, what would it be? Well, I kind of cheated, and he didn't say it had to be one label cigar. So if I could only smoke one cigar, it would be Lanceros. Every Lancero out there.
That's like wishing for an infinite number of wishes.
Yes.
But the reason I like the Lanceros is because there's more flavor per square millimeter
Yeah.
than the bigger cigars. They're harder to make. I mean,
It is one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult, cigar to roll because that leaf is so long. And what Nelson Alfonso told us, the owner of Atabey, is these rollers. If you ever shake the hand of a professional roller, it's like shaking the hand of a brick. Their hands are so strong. Well, when they go to bunch that tobacco and roll it, their right hand rolls faster than their left hand and twists that tobacco. And a Lancero is a very small ring gauge. It twists it, so they have a tendency to be tight in the middle, which causes people to draw really hard and causes tunnels and all the other issues that they get. But when you get a Lancero that's rolled to perfection, man, there is nothing better.
Do you know why?
I feel bad because I'm like a noob on cigars again.
You know something who changed that up? Is Luciano. You know how Luciano changed that up?
How?
He used smaller leaves. Think about that. Instead of using one big leaf that gets all bunched up because there's a ton of biomass in the center, he just stacks smaller leaves.
Makes perfect sense.
And bridges it so there are fewer needed, and he can be consistent front to back.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah.
It's innovative. Does y'all have any of his Lanceros?
Yes, yeah, we have the Dreamer up there.
Oh.
And it's
Okay.
tremendous. And
that
Beer
try.
Grills is coming in. His cigar, the last cigar he would smoke is an Osa Cabroncito, which he's coming out with the Cabroncito Habano when he's here in May.
We have a cigar that arrived today that
Let's talk about that.
Luciano is the most fascinating person I've ever met in the cigar industry. I'm going to just make that statement. The guy takes the most complex stuff and breaks it down to us normal people being able to understand it.
Is there anybody?
And
You want to pour?
yeah, we need a
You want some tequila?
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yes.
Yes.
This is good tequila.
So, sorry if I bumped the mic.
While he's pouring that, what are you smoking on over there?
Zulu. I'm coming up to my end of the box that I bought, but it's such a good cigar. Which, when you told me about the German engineering that's coming in soon, I'm really looking forward to that because, like I said, I'm coming to the end of these and I need to replenish. And I'll definitely be buying
Yep.
the German engineering.
German engineers should launch in that kind of March 24th range.
Okay.
I think that's where we're gonna go. There still are a couple boxes of those Zulus. When I opened my box when I took to Colorado, it was Zulus, Principal, Atabay. That's
Yeah.
it, but it was all
That's the-
Zulus.
that's the perfect
solid
mix.
right there. Yeah, you can't go wrong with any of that.
So, and our friend here, Brian McGee, is in.
You were talking about.
I was
this very
talking
special
about
cigar.
there's a very special cigar that we made part of the evaluation process. Luciano is an amazing, amazing man. He owns his farm is called Ace Prime. He is doing a lot of cigars right now for Crown Heads, and he has his own product. He has the Luciano branded, and he also has the Pichardo Family Reserva, and the stuff is all so good. And he was talking to Brandon when they did their ICC University, which is on YouTube, by the way. It is outstanding. Go watch it. But one of the things, Charles, one of the things that was what he had talked about was how many retailers come to him to have cigars made. Will you make a cigar for us? Will you make us a house stick? And everybody comes to him and wants him to make cigars. But after he spent a couple of days here, he said, the difference is I want to make a cigar for you guys. I don't necessarily want to make cigars for these guys.
Yeah.
You guys, your customers and your members are so passionate about cigars. You guys are passionate about cigars. I want to do something for you. So to bridge this gap, he goes, I have 190 of my cigars, his personal blend.
from the vault.
From the vault. What's interesting was we ordered them, I paid for them, and then apparently he decided I better just keep 5 more of these. So he notified me that there's 5 less coming than what he originally sold us.
Wow.
But these are coming in,
They're
and
here.
they are in the house.
We just haven't done anything.
We just haven't done anything. They just got here today.
What did it taste like? You remember?
I remember the cigar was crisp, non-offensive, just butter creamy smooth.
Butter popcorn.
Buttered popcorn.
Butter popcorn.
Yep.
It was so good. It was, and it smoked. We smoked the shit out of that cigar. Everyone was passing it around because we only had a couple.
3. Yep.
Oh, so good.
So we will have those. It is a no joke cigar. It's going to be like $22, $23.
The Vitona is like a longer Corona Gorda.
Okay.
I would say it's
small
almost a
range.
Lonsdale. It's almost a Lonsdale.
Yeah, I wish I knew what size that was, but
And to me, it looked like it was about a 6.5 by 46. A little bit thicker than a Lancero.
It's a great size. It's the cigar wrapper. It's 100% Peruvian, Pelo de Oro. Ugly as shit, but so tasty.
Oh,
It's something special. I cannot wait.
Looking forward to that.
If I were to buy some cigars for my friends to smoke with me that are not avid cigar smokers at a good price, what should I buy? What do you guys think of that?
that's real simple for me.
That's an easy answer for me.
My friends. Male or female?
Male or female? This is Evan Hurst.
And I mean, either way, not avid cigar smokers. So it sounds like maybe every once in a while they dabble in a cigar, right?
I think there's me personally.
Kirk. God damn it, Larry. Good thing you're in, Larry.
Okay, so
Yeah. Me personally, price, performance, quality. Don't feel bad when your friend takes 2 puffs on it, leaves it in the ashtray. Is an accomplished white label Robusto.
That's the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's $7. It is the reason,
Yeah.
and I'm going on record. And I know Rocky Patel's watching this, and I know Carlito Fuente is watching this. I know Nick Perdomo is watching this. It is the reason that one cigar is the reason we do not sell your lines.
I got other
Because-
reasons.
I got other reasons too, but the simple fact of the matter is, put your best $15 cigar on the table and let's compare it to that $6.98 cigar.
Yeah.
I double dog dare you to try to beat that cigar.
Yeah.
So, and it's spectacular. It's principle, but
You know what I would?
so consistent.
Do you have an idea of what direction you would go, Trader?
Well, I mean, just coming from personal experience with Nathaniel and Nodbay coming in here with me 2.5 years ago, they had never smoked a stick. I had only smoked 1 or 2, and the first one we gravitated towards, well, with Dave's help, asking a lot of questions, was an Atabey. And to me, I mean, I'll smoke a lot of different things. JP likes like a lot of grassy note cigars, which I like those too. But if you want a cigar, it's I wouldn't say it's inexpensive, but I wouldn't call it,
It's a great value for the money.
yeah. I mean, if you want a cigar that you're going to sit down and you're going to enjoy, and they're going to sit down and smoke it, and they're going to finish it, and you're not going to have to worry about them finishing it, I would say an Atabey.
Well, that's the choice words that you said there. If they finish it, because if they don't, if they leave them Atabey,
You get new friends.
Yeah, get new friends.
I agree with
And-
Don't Chesky for sure.
Yeah, Frank said that, right. If they're not avid cigar smokers, get new friends or turn them into cigar smokers, and you can do that principle accomplished. Here's what I would do, in all honesty. Smoke what you like, what you're passionate about, what you're excited to smoke. Evan Hurst, I'm talking to you. Go get a Zulu because I know that's what you love.
Yeah.
Because you'll be able to give that cigar and say, this is good. If you believe in the cigar, I think the other people will believe in it.
Yeah.
And now, if you're a type of guy that loves a super strong cigar, well, you're going to know that already. But if you're a guy that likes the flavor, likes something smooth, easy going, lives in the Goldilocks zone, smoke what you want. Because if the friends don't want to smoke it, then you've got something you can enjoy. And Accomplice is that way to go. But in all honesty, there are so many. The Crux Epicure can be smoked by everyone.
Yeah.
The Cavalier White Label, really good. There's no Ligero.
Cavalier, yeah.
There's no Ligero leaf in that cigar at all. So it's tobacco forward. What we call a tobacco forward cigar instead of strength forward, and it is a beautiful cigar. I've been smoking a lot. Fiat Lux.
That's a good cigar.
And I think if they're not avid smokers, where you smoke the cigar with them, is going to make a difference.
Yes.
If you smoke it out on your back deck and it may be good, but the key thing is, to me, is to not just have them smoke the cigar, kind of start immersing them in the cigar, why you gave it to them.
Yes,
The story.
The story,
Yeah.
right? There's so much of that. And that's my favorite thing of smoking cigars with my friends is when they're not lighting up one of my cigars unless I'm telling them about it.
Yeah.
So find the cigar you know. Tell them about it. Let us, if you have questions about a cigar, let us give you the information to regurgitate that. So that way when they get it, they feel, Frank jokes saying every time we smoke on the patio, it's like the cigar that Kennedy had in his pocket when he got shot in the head. He feels like, but we're smoking Zulus, we're smoking Accomplice, we're smoking the cigars but they all come with a story. Mm-hmm. And everything has its own story.
And I think the other key too is we make an effort to make sure that we know who the farmers are, who the blenders are. Talk to the rollers, or talk to the master blenders. Why did you blend it this way? What tobacco did you use? What fields did you get it from? Because that goes to putting the whole story together. There's so many. I mean, when you hear about, well, this has a 2007 wrapper, and that particular year had heavy cloud cover, and that helped shade the tobacco, so that year was better than the next couple of years that were really heavy concentrated with sun, because sun will cause that tobacco to get a little bit stronger. Just things like that where you get that backstory.
And maybe have 3 cigars you want to give them, and give them the middle one, the one that you think will be, that is just smooth for you to smoke, and see how they do with that. And if they enjoy it, or if they don't enjoy it, then you take it down a notch, take it up a notch, and say, well, this is the reason why I chose these 3. I wanted to start you off on this one, try this one, try it. I mean, that's what happens back here. I mean, a lot of stuff you smoke, it's because somebody else is like, I really enjoyed this, and I want you to enjoy it. And this
Is there nothing better than just sharing a good cigar with somebody? It's like cooking a great meal and then seeing the people's reaction. To me, I take so much away from being able to give somebody a cigar, like you say, tell them that story, but see that experience that they have. And I think so much of it is, who are you having your cigar with? What are you talking about? All of those things. I had an experience here a couple weeks ago. I went home and my wife goes, so how was the shop? And I said, this was why we opened a cigar lounge. I had a great conversation, great cigar, the music was right, the conversation was right. It is why we opened a cigar lounge. And it's so much of it is the environment, where you're at and what you're doing.
Let's talk stories here. I think we're on to something. Let's run with it. And I'm curious from you guys, is from a cigar perspective, what is your favorite? You can take this multiple ways, but what is your favorite story behind a cigar? And maybe it's just a cigar that you have a specific story with, or particularly where I'm thinking is, what is your favorite story behind a particular cigar? Be it the Partagas 160s, be it the Atabes, and the reason behind the name of Atabe. What are your guys' favorite stories behind the cigar that people could take that they may not recognize?
Well, to me, the 160 is a great story.
Do you want to tell that for people who don't know
Sure.
the Partagas 160
Yeah, it's
stories?
it's a story that I kind of would have stuck in the vault had we never been able to get the cigar again. But there's a cigar called the Partagas 160. There was one called the Partagas 150, and on cue.
I had the 150s, I think, in my locker.
160s.
Got the 160s?
Yeah. So, 1972, this tobacco was grown in the Dominican, shipped to Spain. The shipment was stolen, and in 1993, it was found in a humidified warehouse, still in bales. And Partagas was contacted. They took the tobacco back. It was coming up on their 150th anniversary, which was 1995. They rolled half of this tobacco. They put a 1977 Cameroon wrapper on it. By the way, age is your friend with cigars. So as you get that age, the cigars just taste so good. 10 years later, for the 160th anniversary, they rolled in 2005. They rolled the balance of the tobacco. I have had these in the past. It's in my top 5 favorite cigars I've ever smoked in my entire life, and I never thought I'd see them again. And then, as fate would have it, at the time that Partagas was coming in here to sell us, they were General Cigars, that basically owns everybody. They own Cigar International, they own Cigar Bid, it's Macanudo, it's CAO, it's Cohiba, it's a lot of those brands. All the shit, you see it everywhere. Anyway, they split their sales force because their sales force was just outselling Cohiba. So they split their sales force because no one was paying attention to these other lines, and this Forged was formed, and they got Partagas. So when they came in to sell us, I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll bring in your line if you could get us 160s, thinking that was my out. They're not going to be able to come up with a cigar that they rolled in 2005. I got you. They said, you know, interestingly enough, when we moved the warehouse and split it, we found 160s. So I said, well, how many boxes do you have? We'll find out. We got to open them up and take them, make sure, because they've been sitting in the box for 12 years. What kind of shape are they in? Found out they're in good shape. They sent us some boxes. Basically, I've committed to all of them, and then they're shipping them to us as we need them. So there is a Robusto or Robusto Major, and the Robusto Minor is a smaller Robusto, but I think those are gone. They'll be gone. That's gone forever. But we have them. It's a cigar that in the secondary market is bringing $75 to $100 a stick, and we're selling them for about $22, something like that. Basically what the cigar sold for back in the day. So they activate the SKU, they sell it to us, then they deactivate it. So nobody can chip away at that inventory. Nice. And for that, then we had to bring in the other Partagas product, which is good. It's not that. But it's just a very cool story to think that tobacco just sat there for years and decades and nothing happened.
And you can tell in that smoke. I mean,
oh yeah,
we've all had it, and
it's smoking a piece of like leather seating.
Yeah. What are you guys' favorite cigar stories or stories behind a cigar?
Mine is always the one, and I'll forget the name of the cigar because it's so old. Oliver came super vintage cigars.
1880.
It
was 1880. It was
from
1880.
1800s.
Oh.
Yeah, it was from 1880.
Yeah, he brought in a box that he bought. He spread them out to everyone. I think we finished that box, right?
Yep.
And it was the quietest the private lounge has ever been.
Somebody just gave me one of those tonight.
Really?
It was.
It's about that ring gauge.
No, this was a smaller ring gauge.
Uh-huh.
You probably got an original 1880, which is still now is about 18 years old.
Okay.
That's Eric Klaus.
That's who it came from.
Yeah. That guy. That's a cool one too. That's a cool one too. It is the actual 1880. The cigar you're talking about is from
the year
1880.
There's a picture of Hoskins, I think, where he's just like, he was sitting by himself, and no one, he wasn't talking to anyone.
Yeah, he was holding the leaf was down to almost where he had to cup his hand so that he didn't burn his mouth.
Yeah, and this look of intensity on his face, And again, that was just quietest we've ever been because we were just enjoying the moment.
It's amazing. I still have that cigar. I have one because I wasn't here that night.
We weren't here.
Andrew smoked mine.
Yeah.
Andrew's cut his at an angle like an idiot. And then I was like, hey, where's my cigar? Oh, here, you can have mine. What do you mean I can have yours? That's mine. And you cut it already. So I have that. I still have that in my humidor at the house.
Larry Adams has a box of the majors and a box of the tubes.
Okay, so from a story perspective, one thing that I really enjoy is the story of Atabey. What is Atabey, right? Atabey is a diocese, is a god, is a goddess of the Taino Indians in Cuba. And she is the god of fertility, of growth, of life. And what the Taino Indians would do is they would use tobacco, they would roll it up into a cigar that would look much different than what we have now. They would come together as a feast, just like we do on Thanksgiving. They'd fire that up together after their feast, and they would send the smoke up to the god of Atabey to give thanks and to give prosperity and to really bless their tribe. That is the name behind Atabey, and it was something that I learned when Nelson Alfonso was here for his first ever United States Thanksgiving, and said, that's what the creation of Atabey is. This is what it's about. So I see Atabey is so big in the lounge, but the whole purpose and the whole ethos behind what Atabey is occurring right now. Mm-hmm. Just all of those people connecting right now, no one on their phone, everyone just out there connecting, giving things.
In the Atabey Lounge.
And it's interesting because a lot of the Tejanos Indians were the indigenous tribe that was on the island of Cuba. Spain eventually wiped them out. But the Tejanos Indians would make a pilgrimage, and that group that would gather was called a cohiba. And they would go to this shaman, and they would take this cigar, and they would use that, they would burn the smoke in the face of the shaman so that he would ultimately bless their crops. He was the Bihique, which is known in the Cuban world as the #1 best Cuban cigar. So you got the Cohiba, you got the Bihique. But the shaman would pray to the god Atabey. So Atabey was above Bihique.
Which is
right there.
Yeah, exactly.
And it has the head of the Atabey.
Yeah, I don't know if that's in
god.
the shot or not, but that is pretty cool.
Oh, it's not.
No, but regardless, it is really, really cool. Do you have a story behind a cigar, a cigar story?
I think for me is cigars in general. The entire, like the person was asking about sharing a cigar with somebody that doesn't really smoke cigars. It's realizing the depth of the craft of cigar making. If you come from a side where people smoke cigarettes and all that kind of stuff, cigars are like they shouldn't even. They're not even. Smoke comes out when you light them up, just like a cigarette, but that's where it ends. So it's the culture behind a cigar, the care that goes into any cigar, and I mean, there's just levels of depths that you can go into. Like, I mean, you're rattling off stuff, different leaves from different parts of the world, and how that affects a cigar. That is the story behind a cigar. That's what kind of draws people in. It's like, wow, this just isn't something I stick in my mouth and light it up and hope that I get some flavor out of it. When you start delving into that stuff, then you start challenging yourself. Okay, like JP will come around when I first started coming here and hand me a book. Then what do you like about the stick? And it makes you kind of delve into the history of the cigar, just like when they found the 160s. How cool is that? I mean, a cigar that didn't exist is gone, and then they found some. I don't want to say it's superfluous that it makes the cigars better, but it makes the cigars better without being superfluous. It's the depth that goes into it. Mm-hmm. That it's like you can buy a Nissan and drive it, and you're going to be driving a vehicle on 4 tires, or you can buy a Bentley and drive it, and it's just night and day. And I'm not talking about the price, I'm talking about the experience, the craftsmanship that goes into building those things. Same thing with cigars. A lot of cigars that you guys bring in here are people that they're not mass producing these for the world, and you guys purposely go after those people. You want people. To me, that's the story behind that. That's kind of draws you in. So you not only get good flavor, but then once you get past, okay, I'm smoking a cigar. Why am I smoking it? Why does it taste good? What's the history behind it? It's like I'm going to make some enemies right now. It's the difference between NASCAR and Formula One.
Yeah, nuance.
Nuance, yeah. I mean, you can watch a NASCAR race or you can watch a Formula One race in Monaco, or you can go visit. Tell me which one you have a better experience at.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's the difference between Skull and an Atabey.
Yeah. I mean,
Now, I will, if I could share one with Jim here, one of my favorite stories goes to the day that I met Jim. His son Nathaniel came in and he was with somebody else.
Oddly.
What was his name?
Oddly.
Oddvay. So in comes Jim, obviously stunning man, and his moderately good-looking kids. His kid,
Real handsome son.
very handsome. The guy should be a movie star. Hold it, he is.
He looks like my dad.
Yeah, so little backstory. Nathaniel is an actor. He's was a Cruel Summer.
Cruel Summer and
did
NCIS.
NCIS. He's done some other stuff.
And it was on Freeform when I was in Colorado.
Oh, is that
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. That
So-
Cruel Summer was on.
So
Oh my god. Yeah, it's
So
cool.
they come in Saturday afternoon. They walk in the humidor. Hey, what brings you guys in? We're gonna have our first cigar. So I go. So you're flying down the tollway going 80 miles an hour. You go, hey, look, a cigar store. Let's go have our first cigar. What brought you guys in? Nathaniel says we're celebrating a roll. Now I'm old and I don't hear everything exactly right. I thought he said he just got out on parole. So I thought, man, this kid really had a tough time in prison because he's too good looking for prison.
Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking, what the hell could this guy have done, and why is his dad in celebrating this parole? Anyway, it really screwed me up. But with long story short, we ended up getting in, working our way into the vault. We talked about Atabays. You guys had your first cigars, had your first cigar here, had your Atabay, and Nathaniel and his friend had the Atabay, and you guys had a great time, and you joined.
Do you know what that is?
Wow.
That's a special. That cigar is close to my heart.
That's for
Smoking now or
dads.
no?
That was
That's for his 60th. That's called the 0 to 60.
0 to 60.
That is by Principal Cigars. That is a very, very special little cigar.
Smoke
Yeah, I'm at the end of that.
That is.
Thank
There
you.
were only, I think, 30 packs of that.
Those 30 packs of 10.
Those lasted
As fast as we could
Minutes?
bring up
Minutes?
28,
Definitely minutes.
minutes.
28 boxes.
Now, I smoked one of those, and probably will only ever smoke one of those. That is a
I smoked one.
special.
I smoked one pack, and then I have one pack still unopened. I won't open it.
It's
There's no ammonia smell.
Oh, no.
oh
Nothing.
no. That's
Ammonia's been gone from the building on that one for a long
yeah. That's
time.
the 0 to 60. That is
Yeah,
that's
that
a
was
special
a
cigar.
that was really that was
Strong man.
Watch your fingers.
watch your finger.
Yeah, is this one you sliced your finger off?
Oh,
No.
Him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could
Yes.
circumcise a gnat
No,
with that.
You don't want to use that.
That's the one that he.
I mean, you could try it.
Oh, what's up, Rob? Rob,
I can't feel my
Goodwin?
fingertips, so, I'm gonna,
Oh yeah.
so that's why I use the one that I have, so I can push it in there and it goes no further.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Whack.
tactile there. Oh,
whack.
have fun with that. That is a.
But like your story you just shared, this is how, like, the person that's asking about sharing a cigar with somebody, that one cigar can change the trajectory of multiple people's lives.
Right.
It did with me, my son, actually my family. When they knew I was finally able to come up here tonight, my wife was like, "You deserve it. Have fun." Nathaniel wanted to come up. He was
Well,
like,
that'd be great.
He's
Yeah.
like, is this going to be a big one? I said, no, it's going to be kind of low key. He goes, well, when they have a big one, I want to come up there.
April 1st Friday.
Um,
April 1st Friday is going to be. So those
Jim
who are
Trader
watching,
Day.
yeah.
Jim
so
Trader Day.
It'll be Trader Day.
But that. Now, Nathaniel and Abed had already picked this place, you know, and they you know, for a 20-year-old at that time to say, hey, Dad, you want to come join us for an experience, I jumped at the chance because most 20-year-olds, you know, their dads are in their 50s. They're like, I'm gonna go do my own thing with my friends, and it changed my life, his life,
Our life, because you're in ours.
100%.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
and that's part of the story behind cigars.
And you know what the real blessing is for us, and this is really why we do Tuesdays and Saturdays, for this glimpse of reality. There's a couple that's sitting outdoors, sitting on at the table right there, April and Brian. They don't know, but their life's about to change because they just found this place, and they have that, you know, that look in their eyes when you know someone has found a home, but they don't know it yet. That we get to see not super often, but we get to see it. It's special when it happens.
Oh wow!
Yeah, but it's really unique to watch, and for us, that's really the most rewarding thing. Is you can get caught up in the daily operations and upholding a culture and doing the things that you want it to do and what it's designed to do. But when that happens, that's really the payoff. To see what part of our life you are, and I think vice versa. Because
I mean, about 3 years ago was when we walked in here.
Yep.
And had I known how much that moment would affect the outcome of these past 2 years,
You had a huge support network here that was
I couldn't
with you.
I couldn't
For sure.
imagine doing it without it. I mean, I obviously I had God on my side. But I mean, you guys. I kind of argued with you on the phone that night when I called and told you, "Hey, Dave, I was, you know," and you had told me something. I said, "No, I don't want you to do that," and it went beyond that. I had a family that was preparing me meals, preparing my family meals. It's hard when you're a guy, especially, to accept that.
Yeah. When you're a giver, it's hard to get.
You don't like to give.
Yeah.
You want to give because you like this couple out here, seeing that look that adds to your life, and it's like, oh,
He knows the ride they're about to go on.
yeah,
That's the exciting part.
and I mean, so I couldn't imagine going through a fight like this without. I don't want to call y'all the Franks, but without my family. And you guys are my family. The guys out there, the girls out there.
It was cool to watch it all, how everybody came together so quickly.
Yeah, and to be back in here tonight, and I was telling Anthony that, you know, we were sitting there smoking a stick, and I was like, you know, it's been 2 years, but it's like, I don't want to say nothing's changed, but it's like when I was in the military, and then you come home, and you know you're away from that part of your life, and you're home, that you can just. That's kind of what tonight was. Just, I mean, I asked KO, I asked if he was coming up, and I was like, please don't wear 49ers stuff.
Yeah.
And the first thing he has on is 49ers jacket, 49ers shoes. But if he hadn't have done it, I would have, you know.
Yeah.
Family, cigars and family, they go hand in hand.
Yeah, a friend of mine that I hadn't seen for a long time told me that you really know a true friendship if you don't see each other for 10 years and it was like last week.
You just pick up like
Just like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And I could see when you walked in, it was like you were here a week ago Thursday.
And it felt that same way because when you came in late last year, it was a surreal moment. It was a moment that I'll never forget. But when you're in here tonight, it just feels right. You know, there was a glow. There was this, everything's right. And it feels like we had just traveled through a wormhole, right? We just went through time and nothing else happened. Nothing happened. It's just, Jim's here.
One of the things that means a lot to me and meant a lot to me was I offered everybody a drink, and there wasn't a single person that didn't take the drink. When over the past 2 years you have to rely on people to give you, and I don't want to say give you things, but give you support, because you need it. It felt good to be able to give back a little bit, just a little bit, and to be able to share. You know, it's just like when you share a stick with somebody. I'm not giving you something that doesn't mean anything to me. I'm sharing something with you that means something to me. And to see everybody be like, yeah, I'll take it. That made me feel home, because that's the way we do in here. You know, if anybody come in with a new stick, hey, try this, or you know, he's a vodka snob or a tequila snob.
By the way, you're out.
But when he and I first met, it was him and Kathleen. They had tequila out, and they were like, "Would you like some?" And I can tell you this: if you're ever in here and you don't have a glass in front of you, or you have an empty glass, somebody is going to offer you something.
Oh yeah.
And I told him, I was like, I don't like tequila. You know.
What'd you have? You have Clase Azul?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, try this. And I was like, in the military, I mean, you know, you go to the base clubs, you get tequila there. The last time I saw somebody drinking tequila, there was tequila sunrises, and it was all over the bay floor.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, man, I just really don't like it. Every time I try tequila, I get this funky, dry feeling in my stomach. So he's like, just try this. If it wasn't for Adrian, I
you wouldn't have known there was good tequila.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's the same way with cigars. The person that's asking about cigars, make sure you give them a stick that means something to you. That's going to be key.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. I think that goes all the way back to when we were talking to Evan, is you got to have something that you feel good giving. And you have to, don't give your friend some shit cigar because you don't want to smoke it.
Right.
However, if there are friends that don't deserve that cigar, don't give them that cigar. But only surround yourself with people who deserve your finest cigars. And I think that could be a key to life. If you think about the friends that you surround yourself with, if you can't dig in the deepest part of your humidor and give them a cigar, what are you doing? Giving them your time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting, because I'm at this point of my life of firing friends. Like, you're a 1 or a 0 right now. You either add to my family's life or you don't. And if you don't, I don't have time for you. No hard feelings.
Right.
But I don't have time. So do you add? And that's the beauty of this show, I think, is because everyone who sits here adds value. Either you are my family, you are my family, you're going to become my family.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is why I enjoy this show so much, is we get to extend our family, and we get to share cigars. We get to share this moment. We never smoke shitty cigars on this show.
No.
And it's an incredible,
Like
incredible thing.
Larry Adams, I mean, he posts on Facebook some of the funniest pictures. And I mean, I scroll down through them, and it makes me laugh.
You know, lose.
Huh?
Did you lose? I lost.
I show live video. Are you guys still hearing us?
I'm back at it. Okay. Yeah, I'm back at it.
And you know, Larry.
For some reason, it's
Mine's
ours
crazy.
is dumping.
Oh, refresh.
Yeah, there's this weird thing me and Brandon staring at
Refresh
each
it?
other.
Does yours? It might just be a.
If you're getting a little glitch, we're refreshing.
Well, I think let's just roll through it and close it up. I mean, whether somebody's here or not, I don't really give a shit. I mean, at the end,
We're back.
we're just here smoking cigars. So
Yeah.
this is about us, and hopefully we get to share it with them. If not,
But I think Larry Adams is a cool example of somebody that got to know ICC and the people here, the people that were in the orbit around us when we do these shows, that became familiar with the people that were here. And him and his wife Julie packed up and drove 10.5 hours here from LaGrange, Missouri, just to hang out with us for a weekend. And it was funny because Larry is also a giver. You just know that in the man when you meet him. And the second morning he comes in and he had his industrial cigar box open, and it was overflowing with cigars. And he goes, Dave, I got to tell you something. It's got to stop. And I go, what's got to stop? He goes, I haven't bought any of these cigars. People just keep giving them to me. And the collection of cigars he had in there, people were given the good stuff. Yeah. And he's just like, I feel terrible. I want to give these guys cigars, but they keep giving me cigars. I'm like, welcome to ICC. Yeah. You know, that's what it's all about. So cool.
Well, I think with that, let's disconnect, allow you to connect back here. This looks like we're having a little bit of tech issues, so let's just peel off and start doing that and sign us off.
That's it.
Jimmy, you want to sign us off?
Don't sign us off.
Just give a little love.
Give them a little love to the 7,000 people that are watching us right now.
Like this. Cheers to all of you.
Cheers.
Much love.
Salud.
Salud.
Get down here, Jim.
Thanks, everybody. We will see you guys Thursday night for Size Matters and Saturday at the shop.
Peace.
I might actually be able to come to this Saturday show.
That would
It's
be
not cars and
awesome.
cigars, is it?
Nope.
No.
It would be awesome to hear that. Weather's going to be great.
And have you met Pablo?
Yeah.
At the Halloween party. At the Halloween party, he was here. Because
who does Pitoro?
Yep, that's him.
Yeah, I've got 2 boxes he signed for me.
Yep,
like
exactly.
2 years ago.
At the Halloween party.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have him.
He'll be here Friday.
He's one of my dear. Yep. I just truly, I just enjoy his company.
Yes.
And he comes, hangs at the house.
So real.
But every time he comes to the house, we're making s'mores in the back, and it's just this. I don't know. It's just one of those true friends. You know, he's.
Now he lives in what?
Switzerland.
In Zurich, and he's.
I mean, you know, when you got people that coming from Switzerland, I mean, yeah, it goes beyond just buying and selling product.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine if Nathaniel would have picked a different spot to celebrate.
I've heard stories of other spots.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It would have been a cigar, and they would have left.
It would have been a cigar. Yeah. They would have left, and we wouldn't be here. The support that you had wouldn't have been clearly what it was.
One of my the people I consult with, I was talking to one of their lead people last week, and she was asking for to give the company an update of how the scan went, and we just had one of their employees in Austin or in San Antonio. She'd been there longer than I've been consulting with the company, and she went in the hospital a month and a week ago. She just passed away last Wednesday. And I'm like, I'm going to hold off. I don't want to give an update yet. Well, then the director of the company, her dad gets diagnosed with cancer yesterday. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to give an update. I'll wait. But I did tell her, she was like, your attitude is amazing, because they know what stage I'm at. And I was like, and I named it out. I was like, the people I work with, the people at Industrial Cigar Company, my family members, my friends. I was like, if any one of those things were missing, I couldn't imagine going through it. Yeah. I mean, and there are people that have to, and I can't imagine. being gone 2 years and be able to walk back in here and just.
Yeah. No, I was telling
Well, it's like
Brandon-
I was sitting here, I'm going, Jim Russell came in here to see you, but Jim Russell wasn't here when you came here.
Have you met Jim Russell? Can I introduce you?
Is he still here?
Yeah, he's here.
Just
Yeah, let me introduce
an
you.
incredible guy. Lee!
See you, Lee.